Wow, Merry Christmas to you all. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
On YouTube, on Instagram, Merry Christmas to everyone. Wow. Has anybody had any exciting, well,
How's your weekend been?
yeah, done anything exciting over the Christmas break? Apart from breaking the rules.
No, apart from eating to your full.
Yeah. Hi, Joanne. Okay.
Hi, Joanne. So, how's your Christmas been? How's the weekend been? Christmas differently to perhaps we planned.
Yeah, we had a good time, Faith. It was a quiet one.
Yes.
I mean, eating, watching movies, sleeping, and eating some more. You know?
And still dealing with the food from the food aftermath.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How's your Christmas been?
I mean, usually we would. I mean, normal Christmas we would have, spent some time at work. Had a few more people around.
Yeah,
around
siblings,
a few friends.
I would have invited a few people.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, due to COVID, that couldn't quite happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, we would have seen my siblings and my parents on the day. But hey.
Wow, Lisa, how did you manage with the battalion in the house? How did you manage to catch the rest? Huh?
Was you in the kitchen? No, do you know what? Yeah. I wasn't in the kitchen all day, which is great. So I ordered some food. I did cook the turkey, but there was no rush or pressure to put it in the oven, so it didn't take much time. It was an enjoyable Christmas, not having to kind of stress with the cooking. The oven's occupied and you need to put something else in the oven. All of the hobs are occupied and you're trying to rearrange and time everything. So it was nice. So I like this type of less stressful Christmas. So I think this will be the norm.
The way to go.
If we're here celebrating Christmas. Last year we were on a cruise. Yeah. So who knows?
Yeah. Okay. So Lisa said by fire, by force. She had some rest, which is good.
That's good.
Hey, Abby.
Hi, Viola.
Yeah. Right. So today, as we get into this session today, I mean it's mixed feelings really. We did say last week that this would be our last session, and to be honest, we've been asking ourselves, do we want to carry on, do we want to continue or not? But this was actually, as some of you know, was meant to just be a few weeks kind of thing. Originally, it was okay. Well, let's just get this going. We'll do my book launch and then we'll see how it goes and all that. I guess none of us thought the lockdown would be for this long.
No, re-lockdown.
Yeah. So, I mean, to be honest, we've actually gone beyond even what we thought we were going to do. And we loved every bit of it. We just kept it going. We're now thinking, okay, well, it's a good time to kind of wrap it up, end of the year. Otherwise, you carry it into January, you're asking, okay, you're wondering, okay, how do we wrap this up when we want to wrap it up? So I think it's a good time to bring some sort of end to this. Even though a few ideas have come through in terms of should we just do something once a month or something like that, thank you, T-Mac. Thank you. Yeah, because quite frankly, as some of you would know, that prior to the Blue Sofa, neither Fumi nor myself had ever done anything on Instagram Live.
No.
Yeah, so it was the first, and we no sort of prep to go into it. We just thought, okay, right, we're just doing it. I guess the first week it was a Zoom session, right? And then subsequently
and it
was just me. And we just sort of we just got into right in the deep end of it.
No, but then you said I should join you, and it was like, I thought this was your thing.
Yeah.
Why am I joining?
Yeah. No, but the truth is, I mean, I don't know that it would have had this much. It wouldn't have been this much fun if I was doing it by myself. I know that. So I think it was the fact that we did it together that actually made it so much fun. So thank you, Faith. I mean, we've had a lot of feedback, comments and all. And today we just okay. Well, let's go back almost like memory lane and just sort of walk through some of the sessions that we've had, some of the lessons learned there, overall. And you are both, oh, exactly, So we are generally very private people, and putting ourselves out there, But to be honest, I think I've come to learn at least one key lesson, and it's the fact that um we live in a goldfish world now. So whereby there's no hiding place. I mean, if you're going to really do anything, if you're going to, have any sort of impact or influence, gone are the days whereby as a pastor you have a pulpit, and of course you still have a pulpit in a sense, but if you're going to have any sort of impact beyond your own four walls, you need to look, put yourself out there on social media. So this has been quite an experience. I loved every bit of it, although very stretching, So and thank you all actually, for the encouragement,
and the engagement.
Yeah, So some not so good sessions that you guys made it look really good, and the encouragement has just been good. So, so some of the highlights.
So some of the highlights. So initially we started out. I think we shared a bit about ourselves, didn't we? And so you've learned a lot. I think you've learned quite a few things about us through this period. And there's been changes so maybe we talk about the changes in our lives as a result of, or through, shall we say, through Blue Sofa, through lockdown, etc. So we kind of started off, and we had a session with Pastor Bimbo on relationships. So if you haven't watched that, please go back and watch that. And shared about kind of, relationships in lockdown. How do you do relationships? Where, like, so for us, we're stuck here together at home. So the first period of lockdown, when I was working at home, I'll be downstairs with the children. The children are doing the homeschooling. He'll be upstairs somewhere doing stuff, and he felt that we were spending more time together. But just because we're in the same house, same space, doesn't mean we're spending time together. So I think after that Pastor Bimbo session, he then joined us downstairs. So we were all downstairs together. So that was a change. And then cooking. So do you want to talk about your cooking?
Yeah, but besides the cooking, so we've done more stuff together. We take more walks together.
Yes, we've taken more walks.
More walks together. A bit, well, when you're up for it,
When you convince me to, when I don't have an excuse.
So more walks together. Then the cooking challenge has actually been, for me, it's been one of my highlights, really, to be honest, so much so that I look forward to it.
And I have enjoyed the cooking challenge.
That's
so what is the cooking challenge?
Well, hold on. When you say you've enjoyed it, have you enjoyed it because it's relieved you, or you've actually enjoyed the cooking itself? Which one is it?
Both. It means that on that day, I don't have to worry about cooking, and I get to have a really nice meal. And so you haven't been doing the kind of play it safe meals. You've been doing stuff that are out of the box. For someone, if you're starting cooking, you might think, okay, maybe start with something easy, pasta or whatever. But I don't think, maybe you've cooked pasta once or twice or something like that. But you made okra. What else have you made? Curry goat, and rice and peas, ayamashe, so you've tried.
And then what else have I made? All kinds of stuff, really. I think for me, it's if I decide to do something, I just dive in, right? I make the mistakes, and just sort of perfect it.
And this is after 11 years of marriage, yeah. So there's nothing I could do to convince him to do this, but somehow lockdown, God, Blue Sofa, all of this worked together in my favor.
No, but you know what? I think it's yes, definitely lockdown, because all of a sudden I realized that, hold on a minute, I'm at home anyway. I have the Wednesday evenings, I'm sort of freer, so I could do a lot more stuff, and why not? So but these days I find myself thinking about what to cook for Monday. So for Monday I'm thinking, okay, what do I want to cook this Wednesday now? What am I going to do? That will be really, nice and exciting, out of the box sort of experience. And I think my cooking has been the most expensive, right?
Oh, Lisa said you have to keep it up. There's no going back.
No, she's tasted the good life. Even if I wanted to go back, I don't think you'll let me go back. So but overall I've enjoyed it. Honestly, I mean, I think the challenge for next year regarding the cooking is that we've agreed that my Wednesdays will be one of the healthy meal days. So I'll be looking for menus that are recipes that are sort of really healthy.
Healthy recipes.
Healthy recipes, yes. So if you know of some that would allow me, sort of shed some weight and keep really fit, please send them my way. I would really love to have them. So Wednesdays, but I also do Saturday mornings.
Yeah, you know what? That one just slipped in, so
Yeah.
I'm happy about that. I think earlier we said, we kind of said that I don't really cook plantain, so I don't fry plantain. I like eating it, but I don't know. There's just something about deep frying that I'm not keen on. So he normally does plantain anyway, and he does pancakes as well. So Saturday morning he does the pancakes. But now, even when we're not having pancakes, he would do like yam and egg or whatever. So
yeah, so
I don't have to stress Saturday morning.
I think that has been, I mean, definitely a good thing to take from the.
Oh yes, thank God.
Lucifer.
Something to be grateful for.
Yeah, and I think it all started from that Pastor Bim session actually. The vacuuming, I don't think we. Not. Hold on, but with the vacuuming though, we have the cleaners back, so that is we haven't done too much of, too many of many occasions of that, but anyway.
So we got a new vacuum cleaner and he was excited, and you set it up and you vacuumed, I think a couple of weeks.
I've done it quite a few times,
I'm sure we've done it about the same amount of time, but Daniel is now taking up vacuuming, so
yeah,
that's great.
Faith, you're asking for too much here. All right.
You know what, Faith? That is a very good question.
You're asking for too much. You should be grateful to God.
Very good question.
You should be grateful to God that at least, there's some progress.
So do you clean up after yourself?
Sometimes I do, but I know that that we'll get there eventually. as you did nothing to get me to this point. So let's see what God will do.
We're not 11 years, yeah?
Well, yeah. No, I don't think it'll take 11 years. Don't worry. We'll get there. Okay. Anyway, so
so that was relationships. So we started off with relationships, and that was quite I think it was quite popular. We had quite a few people. And we had a few we were kind of discussing a few things that were kind of in the news. So we had stingy or smart.
Yeah, I like that one.
Do you have a budget for your dates? And then we also had some clips where we were speaking. We heard Jada and Will speak about their relationships. I say them like I know them, but speak about their relationship and revelations in lockdown.
Yeah.
And that was quite interesting.
Yeah. Now that stingy or smart one, I guess we divided opinions on that, particularly with the single ladies. I felt that the guy had a very valid point, right? Now, but I guess the issue mainly was in how it was communicated. But I mean, you want to marry a guy, at least make sure that the guy has control of his money. So I thought that was a good one. I particularly enjoyed that session, and also the varied points that came with that too.
And we had Manny and Lisa, so they've been our guests. So Lisa's been on a couple of times. So they kind of helped us with the conversation and added some spice, so kind of brought us into their relationship. So which was nice.
No, I knew that one would be a winner anyway, because I know that Lisa would go all in, which was good.
Yeah.
Thanks Lisa for that. Hey, Arike Washington Kagum.
Oh really? Is that their name? Okay.
Yeah, that's her name. Ari, how you doing? Anyway, so.
All right then. So what else? So yes, we said against all odds. So I think we kind of we had like a series where we were talking about African Caribbean people, and we kind of spoke about or learnt about those people that have done well, that perhaps we're not familiar with.
Yeah.
And then we kind of looked at kind of if you look at society, and if you look at everything that's been happening with regards to Black Lives Matter and so on, we can see that although, let's say in the NHS in London, for example, we make up like 45% of so BME make up 45% of people working within the NHS in London. Yet, if you look at the senior management, it doesn't reflect that. So we kind of tend to occupy the lower bands, and then we're underrepresented as you go up the bands within the NHS, and that's similar in many other kind of spheres of life as well. And so it was like, okay, so what can we do? So we're talking about representation, and I think that kind of helped me also have a purpose in kind of progressing. So if you're progressing for selfish purposes, then that's not something that kind of appeals to me. But if you're looking at how you can be a representation for those people that are coming up against our children or our cousins or younger people, then actually that is a purpose worth progressing for.
And I think for me, actually, that particular session was a breakthrough session for me, because for so long, I've been trying to encourage her to sort of progress in a certain direction at work, and because I know she has the capacity, right, and that doesn't, I mean, she just really wasn't buying it, or at least I didn't think she was buying the idea, But then on the back of that session, I can see now that, because now it's almost like there's a purpose to work, as opposed to, I'm okay here, I'm very comfortable at this level, whilst there's a lot of potential, to do a whole lot more, So up until now, it's been more or less like, well, she just sat on the potential, whilst just be very comfortable where she was at, So that session actually really, stirred her up, I think. And now we're looking at, some major opportunities in the future. So just watch this space, So, well,
okay. And then George Floyd.
Yeah.
George Floyd.
Was that when we talk about the Black Pound as well?
I think that was afterwards. So
Okay.
we had a few sessions, didn't we? Talking about kind of George Floyd and then Black Lives Matter, and then what do we do about it? What should our response be?
Yeah.
And then Black Pound Day. I don't know if it was on before that, but essentially, I know we discussed it anyway, and how we can support Black-owned businesses to thrive, and making it intentional to support kind of those that are of the Afro-Caribbean ethnicity, support their businesses and so on.
Yeah. I mean, in that one, there's a particular revelation about the fact that the Asian dollar, the British pound, the currency sort of bounces around the community a number of times, but with the Black community, they
doesn't bounce.
It doesn't bounce at all. You make your money, and then the Asian shop or the one of the community just takes it out of your hand, because we don't produce, we don't have that commercial side to our lives pretty much, so that again was a very useful one.
Yeah, that's true. And the book launch.
Yeah. It's been about 8 months now, right? So the book was
May.
7 months. Yeah. That I launched the book Fearless at the time. I wasn't going to do that launch, but Pastor Bimbo encouraged me, and I'm glad I did. Because I've heard a lot of people feeding back to me about how the book actually blessed their lives and all that. So that was actually a good one too. Fearless, and the message of the book itself, it's still very, very for me very fresh, in that every day, many times I have to remind myself that, look, this is how to approach. In fact, I was just having a chat with someone today, because at times we make decisions unknown to us many times, somewhere in the background, out of fear. So we hold on to relationships out of fear. We hold on to jobs out of fear. But if you can actually just separate yourself from that fear, and you will make better decisions. So you're not tied in because, oh well, I don't think I have a choice here, or would anybody else employ me? Once you can make that decision, be absent of fear, you're likely to make the right decision. So that was actually a good session. So if you haven't read Fearless, please, I'm sure a lot of people watching probably have a copy. Otherwise, you can pick a copy up. But I think it's although yes, I wrote the book, but it's a good book. I think it's a good book. A good book when you, the author, when you read it and you're like, wow, where did this come from? So that was actually a good book. All right, so
cool. And then Father's Day.
Yeah, I'm not sure we can go through all of it because we have a few people that are going to jump on. So maybe we should get a few people on, and then if we have any time left,
okay,
we can then come back to this because we just don't want to bore you guys with each of the sessions. We also want to bring people on who enjoyed some of the sessions that we've actually had on the blue sofa. So who's going to come up first? Who should we get on first?
T-Mac.
Okay, T-Mac. All right, T-Mac. We're going to invite T-Mac on. It's not so random, by the way. We've had a chat with these guys beforehand, but they have particular angles to this conversation that we thought would be useful. I think I lost it.
So, what was your favorite session? So, I know you may not have watched all of them. But out of the sessions that you have watched, what are your highlights from some of the sessions?
Hey, T-Mac.
Hi, T-Mac.
Hello, good evening, Pastor Banks.
Hi.
Holmes. Hi, how are you? Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Yeah.
How are you guys? Yeah.
Good. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me on.
You've been one of our very regular supporters here on the Blue Sofa.
And contributors.
Yeah, contributors, in fact.
Researchers, we say also.
Yeah. It felt good the other time, though, when I was able to prove T-Mac wrong.
Actually, I had to come back for that.
For once, I felt like, at least I know something. Yeah. So tell us, on the Blue Sofa, what's been your highlight on the Blue Sofa?
Well, you know what? I've got a few highlights. It's so funny. Pastor Banks, I'm sure the session you, myself, Mr. Logan,
yeah,
PSFA had preceded the Blue Sofa when we were talking about the issues around Black Lives Matter, police brutality, and the response of our people in our community against, in light of the issues about the police being heavy-handed.
I think that was like a spin-off of
it. Was a spin-off, yeah. It was it was on a weekday.
On a weekday, and it's so funny how a few months later we had NSAS in Nigeria and the impact that it had.
Yeah.
And a lot of things we spoke about, some of those things that we spoke about, even though we talked about it in the context of London and United Kingdom, we saw those things happen in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So that was something. Then the two other sessions that have really, really, really been of a blessing to me. The first one was the topic where you talked about the attitude towards adoption within our community, and how that lady talked about how the struggles she had, and even when she went to church and trying to do her Thanksgiving, and how it was people were a bit funny, but luckily she had a wonderful and supportive husband. That was, for me, the top one. The second one, even though it's much, much recent, even though it wasn't any of us that did it, the Olofes, Miss Rema, have been writing Christmas. I have not stopped since that time. That's how I wrap my Christmas from now on.
Lovely.
From then, it just, putting the meaning of putting Christ in the center of us, the masses.
Yeah.
And it's been really, when you see it and you're thinking, okay, this really makes sense. And you go back and you're thinking, you know what? And that's one thing I've loved about this Blue Sofa sessions, is like how you could learn from different people and different contributors and things. So it's been wonderful. I'm one of those people that I'm going to miss this because, it's been a highlight of my Sundays.
Wow.
Even the days that I couldn't join because of God for the game engagement, I always go back and go and have a look at it. So thank you to you both for being part of our lives and opening up your home and yourselves and letting us learn from it. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, that Rema's one, you know, when Bible says out of the mouth of babes.
Yeah,
that was
definitely.
essentially what that was, you know. So, and
because I've had a few people ask me that, oh, Timak, is it your spell check that's writing like this? And I'm like, absolutely not. That there's this lovely child in our church that this is how she that's our way of describing Christmas to people.
Yeah.
So even through that, a conversation have started.
Yeah.
So, and that came through her. So, Lisa, obviously, I can see that, you know, Rema, John, and the rest are taking great stuff from you. I'm not sure about that, my brother.
Oh wow! All right, no, they learn all the football stuff from Manny, and all the Jesus stuff from Lisa,
and then everything else from Lisa.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, T-Mac.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Okay.
That's great.
All right.
That adoption one was really powerful. You know? And you know, them sharing about, you know, their experience with infertility and then even broaching the subject of adoption because of culture, you know, was wonderful. You know, it was a really kind of powerful session.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, for me, the highlight of that session was I mean, she mentioned the fact that our husband was more Nigerian.
Yeah, she was
so to speak.
Cook.
Yeah, she was British Cook, yeah. And the fact that he was able to embrace, in fact, we actually thought of doing another session with just him, because it's very rare, you know, to find a man, well, I mean, I'm sure there are, but you know, it's not a common thing to find a Nigerian man who would embrace adoption in that way. We just don't do it. It's not.
We're not open. I think that was the other thing, wasn't it? That she's so open about it.
Yeah.
You know.
You know. So that was definitely something else. Before we bring the next person on, what's the next?
Okay, so someone else. Well, you want me to read this one? Yeah.
Yeah, you can read it. This person doesn't want to show face on the blue sofa because they don't want to blow their cover. They know themselves. So let's just read what the person said.
Okay, so this person said some of their highlights for the year have been the shows where we've had really lively conversations around current events that maybe weren't covered in many churches. And so he said the George Floyd Black Lives Matter movement was a perfect example of this. We were all stunned by it and had lots of confusing feelings ranging from anger to sadness. Blue Sofa was a port in the storm, somewhere where we could express how we were feeling, discuss the Christian perspectives, but also talk about solutions.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of people found those sessions to be healing. So thank you so much for providing the platform.
Wow, that was really good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I almost mentioned the person's name.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. All right. So, but before so after the George Floyd,
George Floyd, so we also spoke about organ donation.
Yeah. Now that organ donation one, please, I want to get a feedback from you guys now. Have you been persuaded? Have you signed up yet or not?
So you know, we said that people from Black or African, Caribbean, or Black and minority ethnic communities spend a longer time on the organ donor register. Because they're more likely to get a match if they have a donor from the same ethnicity, but we're underrepresented on the donor list, although you know, there's a number of people waiting, so they're trying to get more donors. So we discussed that and spoke about it, and so we kind of said, you know, so would you be willing to donate? So now, because the law has changed, so actually we're automatically it's opt out as opposed to opt in. So kind of, have your feelings about organ donation changed, or are they still the same?
It'd be good to hear from you guys. The other day you were meant to go and give
blood, try and give blood, attempt to give blood again, but I had a cold, so I couldn't go.
Yeah. Are you sure that your cold was real?
No, but they said that if you have a runny nose, so I had a runny nose. I wouldn't have called it a cold,
Yeah.
but I had a runny nose, and then I started sneezing, so I thought, okay, I have to call this a cold, so I didn't go.
Okay. All right. So my husband and I have always been kind of okay when we go. We don't need it. It's true. You don't need it anymore, of course. Okay. All right. So yeah, the prenup one too. Is that the next one?
Yes. So we had a session on prenups.
That
was an interesting one.
That was a cracker. I really love that one.
Yeah.
And it was truly awesome. I tell you, because I mean, as a pastor, I imagine someone coming to me to ask, even though, generally I won't subscribe to the idea, but I think I've come to that point whereby I've come to understand that there are certain scenarios where it's wise for there to be prenup. But then I can't prescribe any of those scenarios here now. But it just makes some sort of sense. So yeah. If I remember having a chat with my friend before the session, I wanted to get her view on it, and she wasn't sure where or how we're going to take or navigate that conversation. So I'm glad that the friend found it quite interesting, and was pleased with the outcome of that session. I think it's one, if you know anybody in that sort of scenario, you probably want to refer them to that session. It's a good one,
So we spoke about, we kind of spoke about representation with regards to African Caribbean people, but also we kind of then touched on kind of gender stereotypes and, if the woman earns more, can the man still be the head of the household? So this is in a relationship. So if the woman earns more, can the man be the head? I
remember Manny saying that they will very happily be the household man.
You did, yes.
Funnily, even me too, I won't mind if I can, but only that there are some things that I don't think I can do.
Like what?
In terms of with the kids, I'm not. But yeah, so I personally don't have any problems with that. And I guess it's having an understanding and being very secure or having a sense of purpose to the relationship. I don't think that should matter. I think at this point we should bring someone else.
Yeah. So let's bring someone else. Maybe Faith.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to bring Faith in. Faith also has something to share with us. What was that Instagram handle again? I am Faith. Faith. Yeah. I am Faith. Okay.
So you so the rest of you, everyone else, so what are your highlights? We've had some interesting sessions, and if you've missed any, they're actually on Instagram Live, on Instagram, IG, TV. So yeah.
Yeah, someone put out there that I don't see any reason why getting married if you start off. Hello, Faith.
Hi, Faith. Are you listening to us somewhere else?
Yes. I need to mute one. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, Faith. So you've been one of our very regular
supporters,
on the Blue Sofa.
Oh.
So again, thank you for your support. It's been fun with you. Your comments, your encouragement, we really appreciate that. So
thank you.
Tell us your highlights then.
My highlights. So I have enjoyed quite a lot of the sessions that I've been part of. Some thought-provoking ones like submission.
Okay.
Giving blood. What else? There's one with Mr. Leroy.
Yeah.
So giving blood. So are you gonna give blood? Do you donate?
I don't know.
Has your mind been changed? I know you said thought-provoking.
No.
Thanks for being honest.
You're welcome.
So
not yet.
So do you have the mindset of like blood suckers kind of thing? You don't know what they're going to do with your blood. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
But
All
I'm
right.
trying.
You're trying.
For
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
I think there's one on advice to my single self. I think.
Yeah.
Shadi and
Shadi,
Femi.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think one of my favorite is the one that you had with the interracial couples.
Yeah.
You know, with the Jamaican pastor and the Nigerian wife.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, because oftentimes when you hear about interracial relationships or marriage, is normally Black and Caucasian.
Yeah.
So this time it was within the same race,
Mm-hmm.
which was interesting. I love the honesty and, you know, raising kids, the language barriers, the food barriers. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Okay. So
Yes.
so the question. So as your
Why,
mind
Pastor
as you have you been swayed in any way?
Okay, I'm afraid not.
Okay, but don't worry,
No.
we are working on it. We'll keep coming back with some convincing arguments.
Okay, fair enough. I'm still not swayed, but I'll get there, I guess.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
guys.
All right then.
Thank you, Pastor.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Take care. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay. All right. That was Faith. You know, you win some. You live to fight another one another day. You know, but at least you know I like the fact that it's a conversation. It's not like we're not trying to impose views on anyone. You know, it's just sharing a different perspective, which oftentimes when we think we're in a sense we think in a certain way without considering or without so much giving a lot of thoughts to other perspectives of the conversation. So I think one of the things, obviously, from even hearing now, is that clearly the Blue Sofa engenders some sort of open conversations. It allows us to talk about things that, like someone said, that things that you generally don't talk about. So that's good. I really like the genuineness of Faith's feedback. Okay, before we bring in one, and by the way, if you actually have anything on here that you can ask to be added on, we would gladly have you.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you have anything to add on, please let us know. And we would have you on, to share your thoughts on this. So this is really just us, hearing back from people.
So we also spoke about the Sabbath. Do you observe the Sabbath?
Oh geez. that Sabbath one, in fact, that's a very funny one because I believe in it, in the principle of it. I do. I just don't even remember.
You don't remember what?
Well, I don't. I'm so in my head. I know. Okay, well, I want to have a Sabbath today. Sabbath essentially means rest, right? Having a day that you set apart to just sort of rest, to rejuvenate, to sort of refresh yourself, get your mind focused again. For those that do 9 to 5, maybe the weekends, but for someone like myself that, I juggle quite a few balls, I've done some work today now, did some work yesterday. So I'm all over the place like that. But I find that, keeping a Sabbath, a particular day, and just saying, you know what, I'm just not going to do anything today. I just don't even remember. I don't remember, so like God, thank God that we don't live in the Old Testament, because this offense is punishable by death in the Old Testament, So Sabbath, yeah. But I guess the principle of it is to find a way to ensure that in the midst of the business of life, find a way to pull yourself back and recharge yourself, recharge your body.
Should we get our third guest on?
Yep. Shall we? Okay. All right. So we're gonna get somebody else, another guest on now. Okay. Now, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So we're inviting another guest on.
Hello.
Hello.
My long
I'm
time.
blown. I'm on the blue sofa.
Yes.
I am blown. Hi guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Wumi and I, we've known each other for...
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Because everyone seems to be using earpiece.
No,
Do
we
I
can.
have to use that?
We can hear you.
We can hear
Okay.
you. We can hear you. You know,
Okay.
so Wumi and I, we've known each other for the last at least 25 years now.
And for me, we couldn't stand each other at that time.
Yeah. No, she couldn't stand me because
Jesus for Jesus.
she couldn't stand me.
Oh my
You know,
God.
like this guy that is just always feeling somehow. Anyway, right. So when you tell us, I mean, you've been again one of the encouragers on the blue sofa. Thank you for always tuning in and also the feedback. So tell us your highlights on the blue sofa.
I've got a few highlights. Can I just say, first of all, thank you guys for doing it. Some of your episodes made me cry.
Oh,
Really?
But no, honestly, and I know, like Bankole said, I've known Bankole forever. I know it must have taken a lot for him to come out like that because I know he's now private. He wasn't private to uni. But anyway, but thank you. I've got a few highlights, so I'm just going to go through a couple.
Sure.
I know the older couple, I think the man is the doctor. Is from Liberty. You know, for me, because I've only been married for 2 seconds, 4 years, 6 months, that's 2 seconds. Hearing from people that have been in the game a long time, I was literally taking note that I was back in my MBA class. So I love the intentionality of most of the speakers. It was obvious that they were very intentional about whatever it is that we're doing. Yeah. So I learned a lot from the older couple. Lisa, hello, Lisa. That day I was watching it, I said, this girl has time. But OMG, the things I really learned from Lisa, how intentionally the way she teaches the kids, the reasons behind stuff was so powerful. Initially, I'm like, this chick has got time. And I said, Mom, you better shut up and listen. So I'm just sitting there, where you go? But I really like that. And I think the really big thing for me from Lisa's session, and for me, I took that on my marriage, was when she mentioned that Manny, that, you know, when she's trying to do stuff with the kids, and Manny is not putting his input, she's like, guy, we both gave birth to these children. Why are you not putting it? You realize that the fact that he's not putting his input in that particular whatever session or whatever doesn't mean he doesn't do his own.
Yeah.
And I just took that was like what Oprah would call, you know, an epiphany moment. I just thought, that's true, but you're bad. Because me too, I'm like, hey, why are you not joining me? Are you not seeing it? Are we about to notice this marriage? I was like, because he's not adding an input to that particular thing, doesn't mean he doesn't try in his own way. So that was quite powerful. I really like Lisa's one. And by God's grace, when I eventually have kids, you know, this whole Christmas, teaching the kids on, you know, what it is about, I will definitely take that on board.
Yeah.
But I'm not ashamed to say I'm the friend you spoke about. Prenup with. Don't be covering my identity. Nobody to come to my house. So I know that Bankole rang me on the Prenup one, the day of the that session, if I wanted to come on, and I panicked. And the reason I panicked was I've come to realize that African Christians' outlook on this whole prenup thing, which was evident on the comments on that day, is totally different from the way an Englishman that is a Christian will look at it. So when Bankole asked me, I didn't want to go into anybody thinking, why is she thinking like that? But one thing I've come to realize is, having spoken to, before I even say anything, thank you for the way you guys steered it. It wasn't judgmental. It was a case of, can people do this? Can people not do this? And the info was out there. So I really liked the way it was steered, because I went into a panic mode when you told me to come on, because I just didn't want any judgmental comments. Yeah. One thing I've realized, and having spoken to, a lot of people need to realize on this prenup thing, it depends on where you're coming from. I have spoken to people that got married in their 20s and in their 30s that went into the marriage with literally their suitcase. The opinion of prenup will be different for someone getting married in their 30s or in their 40s, bringing a lot on the table. Yeah, the opinion will be different. And I get the whole idea of it's all down to trust. I get it. There are people that have the idea with trust and it's still going wrong. So prenup doesn't necessarily mean it will lead to divorce. It's still, at the end of the day, it's God. So I just love that session. You know, how you guys steered it. That was really, 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 really good. And the final one,
Oh God, I had to write it down. Is that serious? I think the one that really, really got me emotional was your pastor friend that they lost a child. That was, apart from the fact that they were doing house fellowship in the hospital bed.
So hold on.
It wasn't house fellowship.
What is house fellowship?
It wasn't house fellowship.
Yeah, I know.
We have children on here.
No, we don't have children on here. So
I don't know how to say that in the Holy
They conceived. Shall we say they conceived in the hospital?
What you do to have children in the I said it's simple. But that really, it gave me hope for someone like me that I'm still waiting to God for kids. I learned two things from there. Pastor, I just watched a video before I came on. Pastor Bimbo just did. So I have a 5 years old nephew that, when they said that the moment I don't know if it was a girl or boy now, when the child was born, he went straight into the theater for an operation. That's exactly what happened to my nephew, literally out of my sister's womb to the theater for an operation. And my nephew was in Great Ormond Street for 6 months. And Pastor Bimbo just did a video that said, when you're taking a child to Great Ormond Street, it's not because the child has bad leg or a headache.
Yeah.
It's like threatening.
Yeah.
And so for me, listening to them, I was sitting there sobbing, thanking God that my nephew is still alive today, despite all that was said. And on the other hand, I was thinking this couple lost a child, but the whole thing coming on the blue sofa gave me hope. It really gave me hope. Their faith in God on how they dealt with it really, really gave me hope. So yes, those are the first things for me. Thank you, guys. Please, we're doing it once a month. For some of us that don't have any social life, this is what we do. This is our Oprah and Wendy Williams moments. You are our Oprah. 5 o'clock every Sunday, we are here like this. And she's out. So please, even if it's once a month, but thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, then. All right. Yeah. Now, see, one session is not enough. Yes. I could do many sessions with me, and we'll just be cracking up, But one thing about that prenup one, before we came on, we were listening to a session by what's that?
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but some Christian guy that does
He's a radio.
Yeah, he's a radio presenter in America, but his ministry has to do with money.
Yeah.
And was talking about how a lady came to him. She was married.
I think, was she a widow?
Yeah, she was a widow. Yeah. So between herself and her husband, they had, they had a substantial amount. I think her net worth was about 3 million. And the husband then obviously passed. And Dave Ramsey, that's right, Dave Ramsey. Yeah. So her husband passed. Then after a few years, she started dating this guy. Now she has a net worth of 3 million, right? The guy didn't really have much. She had children, and then she asked Dave Ramsey, should she do a prenup? And without hesitating, Dave Ramsey said yes. And he said, well, normally he wouldn't advise people to do prenup. But he said, in a scenario like this, and it's not so much because you don't even trust the guy, it's the fact that between yourselves, you guys might be fine, but there are other relationships around you, maybe our children, the guys, family members, other people around that relationship that could influence the direction of that relationship. That's why he would recommend that they do a prenup. I thought, wow. Then he went on to say that, perhaps, even if it's not, that what they could do is they could go into prenup, but then review it over the years to a point whereby they don't even need it anymore, And I thought, well, there's wisdom in it. Like I said, I won't prescribe it, but at times I think we fall short when we put everybody in a straitjacket, because we all have different scenarios, different people are coming from different places. With me, like you said, our scenario is unique. So I can't just say, well, I'm just going to apply this, as a blanket rule, And that was a very good session for me. I really enjoyed that session. Okay, do we have any other?
So let me see. Oh yeah, so mental health. So we spoke with Ms. Sekin-Florian about mental health, and talking about the stigma of mental health. Kind of mental health issues is a stigma generally, but within our community, we don't really mention it. And I think is it 1 in 4 or something high? There's a high statistic of people that suffer some kind of mental health scenario, but we don't really mention it. So that was really informative.
Yeah. And I think she mentioned the fact that it's a double whammy situation. Within Christian circles, we don't mention it.
That's true.
Within our cultural background, we don't mention it. So if you're Christian and you happen to be Black, you are even less likely to want to deal with your mental health issues, and that was quite good. That was quite good as well. Yeah.
And then NSARS, so we had some guests. And Vome was actually at a march when she logged in.
Yeah. No, that was live. Vome and Toby.
Yes.
That was really good.
And then cuffing season.
Yeah. No, you skipped Silver Lining.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Silver Lining with Keye, and because I understand the details of the situation, so his particular life and work has been significantly affected by COVID. So is a fashion. I don't know what they call them now, but it makes bespoke suits and stuff, and also is a public speaker. These 2 lines of work have been affected.
Yeah.
So how he's managed to just sort of carry on, and how his wife has been very supportive. And I think we mentioned the fact that thank God for the wife that he had, because if he had married somebody else, it would have been probably more challenging than it is now. So
choose wisely.
Yeah, choose wisely. I think that was one of the takeaways from that session. That was really good. Yeah.
And then cuffing season. So we had a number of guests. It was a really interesting session. So we had Shade and Femi talking about conversations with
oh my God, yeah, that was really good.
And their daughter,
yeah,
which was good.
Yeah.
And Stronger Together.
Yeah.
So that
so
was...
hold on. Do you know what I like about that Shade's one? Shade and Femi's one. To be honest, I didn't and because we let it just flow, she really touched on areas that I wish she would touch on, but then I didn't want to sort of push it. Talked about how they conducted the relationship, how she would do it differently this time if she were speaking to her single self. Some of all the kind of things that we tell single people, and at that point they're like, no, I don't want to deal with it. There's a quote that I heard the other day. Someone said some things are better. We say experience is the best teacher, and that's true. But there's something that you don't understand until you've experienced it. And that's quite key, because no matter how you tell single people, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, it almost feels like you don't know what you're saying. But then if they happen to experience it, some of them survive it. They survive the challenges that come with it. Thank God. Shadi and Femi, they have a fantastic marriage, but not everybody gets to survive those challenging seasons of the relationship. And that's why within a few months to years, the marriage breaks up, and you're wondering what's going on here. So that was quite a good one.
Yeah, and then Pastor Tayo and Moyo.
Yeah, so that was because I know the story, and
but you didn't know the full
I
story,
didn't know the full story.
Mm-hmm.
So hearing them, like, wow, you guys, this is a lot.
And so many years down the line, they now have 3 daughters.
Yeah.
And so you don't necessarily know what their story was.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, when I'm dealing, or when I'm faced with certain challenges, and this is why, in as much as we're friends, but there are some challenges that when I'm faced with them, or when I know people that are dealing with certain issues, I just refer them, because you see, you don't, unless you have you've been there, done that, you've seen God, or you've had your scars from a situation. It's difficult to encourage other people, or to lift other people out of that situation. Their life story, it's been amazing. Wumi spoke about that. Some other person actually, contacted me after that session, and were like, wow, they were just like wowed by that session. That was really good.
Yeah. And then, so Pastor Errol and Kenny Lawson, and that was the Jamaican and Nigerian couple. And it was an interesting session, because they kind of spoke about the fact that because she was Nigerian, his family were wondering,
papers and stuff.
Is she genuine? You know, so they had to deal with that kind of initially, but then also just maneuvering the different culture and you know, the British culture as well as the Jamaican culture, and you know how they're making it work for themselves. And the what was it? The God. What was it? God culture? Was
it was kingdom culture.
Kingdom culture, God culture.
Yeah. Now the thing about that session is that usually when you have a couple like that, the likelihood is that the lady is the one that sort of lines up or aligns herself with the guy's culture. But theirs is different, because he said that she is more or less embraced the Nigerian culture, the food, the people, and all of that, and that's fine. And I think, as like he said, the God culture is there. We don't see themselves as this or that. It's, you know, their kids, I think they have Nigerian names, and he's very comfortable with that, and that for me is very important. You know, so that was good.
Yeah, and then the Adeotoyes been married for 30 plus years.
Yeah, 30, I think 32.
30 plus years. So
32.
things to learn, you know, as their children are adults, really.
Yeah.
You know, and how do you kind of maneuver the relationship so that you're not drifting apart? And it was interesting to hear their challenges, you know, because they spoke about how busy it was when their children were really young.
Yeah.
You know, working, studying, looking after the children, you know, but they've managed to survive that. So that was really important.
Yeah.
And then All I Want for Christmas. So that's December, our December theme.
Yeah. So then we started off with why I don't like Christmas.
Yes.
You know, and then obviously we had we had Lisa. That was also a very good session, you know, with some of the key points and lessons from there. And last week was about what was last week about?
Last week we were All I Want for Christmas. Talking about not just about the gifts. No.
Imagine it's the just from last week, and we've forgotten that particular one. Anyway, yeah, but overall it's been, you know, an amazing ride for us. You know, we've enjoyed every bit of the blues so far. We're still trying to think of what we're going to do. Last week was about Mariah Carey's song, All I Want for Christmas Is You, and some correlations and lessons that we thank you. Yeah, Louisa, thank you for that. Yeah, some of the correlations and lessons that we could draw from that song. That was also a very powerful session. You know, so overall, it's been a good 9 or so months. Trust me, honestly, we never thought we would make it this far. You know, personally, well, and I guess I can speak for both of us. I think we'll come back and do something else. You know, but I don't know in what format. You know, because we've tasted it, we've seen it. You know, we enjoy it, not because, you know, we seek that fame or reckoning in that sense, but it's just, you know, we love to spend time with people, and this has allowed us to do that. So thank you all for
thank you so much for joining us, for
joining
engaging with us.
Yeah, you know, we've learned a lot from you.
Yeah,
you know, and it's been good.
Yeah.
So
they are on Instagram and on YouTube. So if you missed something, you can go back and listen. If there's a particular session that you wanna go back to, you know, you can message us and we'll tell you which session it was. But this is 37 session, 36 weeks that we've been going on Instagram Live. So thank you for making it so much fun and enjoyable, and thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the support. You know, thank you for those that have joined us live and those that have joined afterwards. You know, we appreciate you all, and it wouldn't be the same without you, which is why we do it live and it's not just a recording. So
on YouTube, thank you to those on YouTube as well. We appreciate you all. You know, so please do us a favor, share with your contacts. I mean, they're all, you know, saved on Instagram and on YouTube. Just share, you know, and even we ourselves would occasionally go back to some of those sessions and just sort of, for our own pleasure, just enjoy it. Yeah, you know. So thank you. Take care. God bless.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah,
take care.
Bye. Yeah.